Juventus against Fiorentina. The tension here has been mounting for some time. And here's how the two teams reached the final. First Juventus, a win in the first round over Gornik, then Paris Saint-Germain. Karl-Marx-Stadt were the next to be dispatched. Hamburg in the quarterfinals and Cologne in the semi-finals. Fiorentina, well, they disposed of Atletico Madrid in the first round on penalties. Sochaux of France on the away goals, then Dynamo Kiev, a really difficult match. They survived there. Auxerre of France, and then in the semi-finals, they came through on that vital away goal against Werder Bremen in Germany. So the scene is set then for the final. As we look then at the two teams, the pride of Fiorentina, of course, is Roberto Baggio, the latest pin-up boy of Italian football, and he has just been named in the Italian World Cup squad. Lubos Kubik, the Czechoslovakian star, and Carlos Dunga of Brazil, they're both certain to feature in the tournament too. Graziani then, the coach who's only taken over very recently, with Fiorentina's fortunes in the league falling away. Graziani brought in, and he's guided them to the final. Here's the Juventus side. 4 members of this team are at the Italian World Cup squad. Goalkeeper Tacconi, Luigi De Agostini, Marocchi and Schillaci, the striker whose goal-scoring exploits and front-running have been such a revelation this season. It's Juventus against Fiorentina. Join us after the break. Welcome back to the Stadio Comunale in Turin as Cup Night on Eurosport brings you the whole of the UEFA Cup. First leg in the final, it's Juventus in the stripes kicking off against Fiorentina. Two Italian sides have battled through to the final. Juventus then kicking from left to right, hoping for their first European success since 1985. And Fiorentina playing in their first UEFA Cup final. A cracking atmosphere in the stadium, not too many spare spaces here. And this, in fact, the last major occasion to be staged in the Stadio Comunale. Juventus moving to their new arena fairly soon, and the World Cup matches will be played there, and Juventus domestic games in the future. 2 legs of the final, and the second leg will be played on neutral territory after problems for Fiorentina in the home leg against Werder Bremen in the semi-final. A lot of crowd trouble, and they have been ordered to play the second leg at least 300 kilometers away from Florence, and it looks as if it's going to be played in Lecce. So some of that home advantage has been taken away from Fiorentina for the return, so they really can't afford to go down by too many goals tonight. The onus is on Juventus, though, to force the pace in this home leg. A dry, mild night in Turin, but passions are running high. This is Del Olio taking the throw for Fiorentina, who've only just survived at the Italian First Division. They beat Atalanta at the weekend to maintain their First Division status. If they'd lost, well, they could have gone down. They finished just 1 point above the relegation places. But it's when it's come to the big occasions, well, they really have performed exceptionally well this season, Fiorentina. Especially in that semi-final when they came through at the expense of Werder Bremen, who've been favourites to go through. Schillaci, who's posing problems for all defences that he faces this season, and straight away there's a goal inside 2 minutes. Gallia, the man who scored the winner in the cup final, is in the right place once again. An incredible start for Juventus. Schillaci got away down the right, and Gallia arrived, and the marking was slack. Look here, as it's played in, no one's picked Gallia up. Beyond Latducci and Juventus are leading Fiorentina by a goal to nil. Just 2 minutes gone. A fantastic start then for Juventus. And what a test of character now for Fiorentina. Scalacci. It was his pace down the flank that set up the chance. And Gallia timed his run to perfection. Well, it was a shock when Juventus beat AC Milan to win the Italian Cup recently, and it was Gallia who scored the only goal. Marocchi with the free kick. This is De Agostini, one of the internationals in the Juventus side, Italian internationals that is. As I mentioned, he's been named to the World Cup squad and looks a fairly certain starter in the 11 that will be fielded in the first game. Injury, of course, permitting. This is Dunga, the Brazilian. How will Fiorentina respond here? Juventus have finished 4th in the Italian league, which by their high standards is a bit of a disappointment, really. Behind Napoli, the champions, AC Milan and Inter Milan. But they've won the Cup, and they're hoping now to add the UEFA Cup. Well, they couldn't have asked for a better opening. But here's Nappi. Good effort! Tipped over the top by Tacconi. A stirring response then from Fiorentina. And Tacconi had to be at his most alert then. Little Marco Nappi with his left foot. I think it took a deflection there. And Tacconi acrobatically tips it over. So Fiorentina bouncing straight back. No foul seen by the referee, who's from Spain. FIFA referee Aladren Soriano. This is Bonetti for Juventus. Alenikov, one of the 2 Soviet Union players in the Juventus squad, and I say squad because Zavarov has been left out of the Juventus side. That was Kubik threading it through that for Fiorentina. Busso, who's on loan from Juventus to Fiorentina. Alenikov, given away though to Nappi. Baggio. Best we've seen of him. This is possessed by Galli. Alenikov. Every indication that this will be a very competitive contest. Alenikov. Juventus 1, Fiorentina 0. Gallia, the scorer, inside 3 minutes. Nappi. Here's Dunga. Down he goes. Take your pick who fouled him there. 2 Juventus players. De Agostini's in trouble. Alenikov. It looks as if he committed the foul. And De Agostini has got the worst of it. Outstanding defender though, De Agostini makes so many probing runs down the flanks. Dunga. Delalio. Pass though was too long for Baggio. The golden boy of Italian football. And I wonder what role he'll play in the World Cup finals. Piccini, the Italian coach, doesn't quite know how to accommodate him. He's rather like Paul Gascoigne of England, a very talented player who could be brilliant one moment, but rather anonymous the next. Dunga, one of the stars of the Brazilian side that reached the World Cup finals and won the South American Championship last summer. Delalio, snappy, and Baggio going in, and it came off Galea, who scored at one end and then rescued his team at the other, and safely into the arms, the welcome arms of Ciccone. Baggio clashing there with Galea. A very lively start to this game. It's a bad tackle went though from Volpacina on Schillaci, so they're well aware of the threat that he poses. Volpacina, an experienced defender, and he made certain then that Schillaci didn't make progress. Here's the free kick. Whistle's gone. Free kick to Fiorentina. Di Chiara was the player back there for them. Tangling here. And offside. Landucci though beaten so early on, which will rather have shattered his confidence. Marocchi. Referee waving play on. Busso, so anxious to impress against the club who've loaned him then to Fiorentina. Nice little touch then from the referee. Not intentional, I'm sure. Di Chiara, and he's done well here. Busso, and he scored! It's 1-1. Busso. Well, he can't believe it. Di Chiara does so well here, pulls it back. Ciccone couldn't get there, but Busso most certainly could. Well, I was just saying how determined Busso is to do well here against Juventus, who've loaned him then to Fiorentina. And with 10 minutes gone, it's Busso. Renato Busso, who has equalised for Fiorentina and really set up this UEFA Cup final. It's the voices now of the Fiorentina fans that we're hearing around the stadium. Such a setback when Galea scored. But Fiorentina have kept their nerve, they've settled, and now they have scored too. It's 1-1. And I would think now that Landucci and his teammates are breathing just a little easier. This is Baggio. That's good skill. Ran straight into Bonetti though, and here is Bonetti again. Came from Verona last summer to add his experience to the Juventus side. Delalio. Baggio. They won't allow him any time at all though to turn. Delalio is the player down hurt. Baggio losing out there to Aladren, and then Marocchi caught Delalio. Had 6 years with Ascoli, Delalio, before moving to Fiorentina last summer. And that's how pleased they are with the way things are going at the moment. The fans of Fiorentina. Delalio is okay. Brio just shepherding the ball over the goal line. Goal kick to Juventus. hoping to revive those halcyon days back in the early 80s, when they were such a force in European and world football. But since winning the European Cup on that ill-fated night in the Heysel Stadium against Liverpool, and also going on to win the World Club Championship, Juventus hadn't won any competition until they took the Italian Cup against AC Milan recently. Another foul on Schillaci. Volpacina is following him everywhere. This is Marocchi. Another of the shining lights in Italian football. Napoli with the mistake. Throw to Fiorentina. Taken by Pin. An explosive start to the game then with those two early goals. Let's hope this final produces some more too. A very promising start anyway. Delolio with the throw, too long though for Nappi. Alenikov. Brio, the captain. Marocchi. Schillaci trying to get the better of Volpacina, who's sticking so tightly to him, and the decision going in favour of Fiorentina. Schillaci with 15 goals this season, and he's been a sensation really. Signed as something of a stopgap, Schillaci, because Juventus were let down on other players they tried to buy, among them Muller, the Brazilian from Torino. Marocchi. But such has been the form of Schillaci, who I was talking about there, that he's forced his way then into the World Cup squad. Marocchi. Rui Barros, the Portuguese star. Bonetti spreading the play, trying to find Casiraghi as Juventus look to restore their lead. De Agostini riding the tackles and hoping to slip onto the return pass from Rui Barros, but it carried too much weight. Looking on the Fiorentina substitutes, wondering if they're going to share a taste of the action later. Delolio, that was Battistini's clearance. He's the captain of Fiorentina. Now Dunga. He's the playmaker in midfield, but this time rather overhitting the pass in search of Nappi. Bonetti for Juventus. Dunga. Busso, scorer of the Fiorentina goal. Got away from one defender, but not the other. Alenikov taking the throw quickly. Here's Marocchi. As Juventus again look to step up the pace. Good defensive header. Now Di Chiara, who has a lot of pace. Nappi's made the run through the middle to open up some space for him. Baggio now, cleverly done, and Nappi was arriving through the middle. And my word, he's working hard. Number 7 Marco Nappi. But that was set up that time by the run from Di Chiara. Here's Nappi now, feels for offside, nothing given. And Tacconi had the angle right. He's furious with the defenders ahead of him. He'd come a long way out then, but the angle was too tight for Nappi. Juventus survive. Gallia. Schillaci going in inevitably with Volpacina. And they're having quite a scrap, these two. Schillaci. Gallia. Chance to cross it in, and the header, I think, from Casiraghi going wide. But it's a very open game so far. I think there was a fear that... Casiraghi there has got a battered nose. I think there was a fear that Fiorentina might have tried to close the game down and just contain Juventus. But it's not looking that way at the moment. They've shown plenty of attacking ideas, and they've been rewarded with a goal. Baggio. Here's Marocchi. "20 minutes gone in the first half of this UEFA Cup final, first leg in Turin. The honours even so far. Schillaci. Does he force the corner? He has. Marocchi going over to take it. And the header flashing across the goal then, it was Gallia again. The man who struck for Juventus so early in the game. And he wasn't too far away then from adding a second goal. Getting in before Di Chiara. The crowd here totally immersed in this final. A long, long way to go yet with the second leg to come. It would seem in Lecce. Baggio. That's an excellent pass. Busso! Well, the intentions of Napoli were just enough to put him off there. As Busso went through, he had the strength. You'll see the tackle, though, from Napoli, and Busso was rather off balance when he shot. But he is certainly causing problems up front for Fiorentina. One of the most promising young strikers in Italian football, Renato Busso. And with the Argentine Dettizier out through a long-term injury, Busso has been thrust into the firing line. Here's Dunga. Graziani. Wondering if his team can survive this first leg. Rui Balos. Schillaci. Here's Gallia. Napoli with the cross. And Fiorentina get it away. Dunga now. Battistini breaking forward and finding Nappi. And again Juventus at full stretch. Di Chiara's in the middle. Shot driven through and wide by Kubik. But they broke so quickly then from defence to attack, and I think the shot took a deflection on the way. And it was the captain and central defender Battistini who led the charge, sending Nappi away. Shot from Kubik, and the corner comes to nothing. Tacconi, who looks like being the number 2 goalkeeper to Montezengo of Inter Milan in the World Cup finals. Misunderstanding there between Gallia and Rui Barros. And the back pass might have been punished, but safely through to Marco Landucci. Brio to Benetti. Juventus, who've won the UEFA Cup on one previous occasion, back in 1977. Dino Zoff was their goalkeeper then, and they beat Athletic Bilbao of Spain in the final. Kubik for Fiorentina. Their first UEFA Cup final, remember. Dunga. Here's Nappi. Kubik. The whistle's gone. I think offside there against Di Chiara. Bonetti. Very careless there, Baggio. And just for a moment he looked up at goal then and perhaps thought about a shot. But instead it's a more patient build-up here from Fiorentina. Battistini. Here's Baggio. Kubik with Battistini. No foul. The referee with arms aloft, indicating that play can go on. No joy for Casiraghi, marauding up front for Juventus. But they have the throw here, taken by De Agostini. Bonetti. Too long. And that has displeased the Juventus supporters in the stadium. Not though, I think, Graziani, whose team have recovered so admirably from that early shot when Gallia scored. Graziani, of course, a great battler up front in his heyday. Played at the '82 World Cup final along with Dino Zoff. Di Chiara with Nappi. Well, he didn't get hold of it, but again, they found him at the far post. And he's taken up that position so well. Always seems to be available, Marco Nappi. And it was his breakaway goal that steered Fiorentina through to the final. A vital away goal at Germany against Werder Bremen. And then the goal is drawn home to secure the place in the final. What a pity it was marred by the crowd trouble, which could now be very costly indeed. Schillaci slipping at the vital moment. But here's Gallia. That has to be a foul, surely. And in fact, Rui Barros then, I think, was holding off Del Olio. Let's look at it again here. That's the decision of the referee anyway, so it's a free kick to Fiorentina. Once Del Olio is able to resume. And that's a rather nasty graze there. Well, plenty more football, of course, coming up on Eurosports fairly shortly on Saturday the 5th of May. You can see Brazil against Bulgaria. The Brazilians warming up towards the World Cup. That match is live. 2000 in the UK, 2100 for the rest of Europe. And next Wednesday, the Cup Winners' Cup final. Sampdoria, last season's beaten finalist, against Anderlecht, the Belgium side. That promises to be quite a match. That's on Wednesday the 9th of May, 2200 in the UK, 2300 the rest of Europe. So hopefully you'll join us for those matches on Eurosport. We'll be showing, of course, the second leg of this UEFA Cup final, and also the final of the European Champions Cup. AC Milan and Benfica. And that's a header from Nappy. So again, he's had room in the penalty area. Picked up this time by Kubik. And Nappy, who's not the tallest man on the field by a long way, guiding his header into the grateful arms of Tacconi. It's 1-1, it's very evenly balanced. And Graziani can't keep still. Only took over in March. And he is leaving, as I was saying earlier on. Also Dino Zoff, they're both going. Graziani, despite his success in just the few short weeks that he's been in charge, and he'll be replaced by the Brazilian manager, Sebastião Lazzaroni. And Dino Zoff, when he goes, Gigi Maifredi, who's been with Bologna, takes charge of Juventus. And quite a few of the players are moving on too. Among them Zavarov, the Soviet Union player, who's not in the starting lineup for Juventus. And Rui Barros from Portugal, he's going too. And Baggio, well, he could be moving to Juventus. Here's Baggio now in possession. He's certainly going somewhere come the end of the season. Speculation is rife as to which club he will be joining. Dichiare, who started very promisingly in this game, probing constantly at the Juventus defence. A player who's come on in leaps and bounds in recent seasons. Just working some space for himself there, and Tacconi right behind it. Kubik. Delalio to Kubik again. Baggio offside. And Juventus do seem to be the favourites to sign Baggio, as he was recently on the front page of an Italian magazine, apparently wearing the kit of Juventus. So I think he's made his feelings known. But what a talent. And the fee they're talking about, £9 million. Pin for Fiorentina, who've given a brave account of themselves so far in this first leg of the UEFA Cup final. 1-1 if you're just joining us. Gallia after just 2 minutes for Juventus, and then the reply on 10 minutes from Busso for Fiorentina. Kubik. Well, the referee did well there, just hesitating to see if Juventus had the advantage, and when he realised that they hadn't, he awarded the free kick for what was, of course, a foul. Bonetti. Swapping passes with Rui Barros. Rather careless defending. Can Juventus punish them here? Schillaci no way through. Bonetti. Well read by Busso. Nappy. Tigerishly batting on. Now Baggio. Oh, Tacconi out to defy him. Nappy now. Tacconi struggling to get back. And Juventus finally clear it away. But Baggio then was clean through. And he will be so disappointed. Nappi's pass was an excellent one. Baggio had time to look up, but all of a sudden Taccone was closing down on him. And he came out quickly enough then to prevent Baggio from scoring. Dunga with the shot here. And what an adventurous first half it's been from Fiorentina. They certainly haven't come here just to defend. Marocchi. And but for the goalkeeping of Taccone and perhaps a little sharper finishing, Fiorentina could easily be leading here. Fantastini. Plenty of time though for Bonetti. One of the two central defenders, the markers at the back for Juventus. Foul by Rui Barros, who pleads his innocence to the linesman. But Pin says, what about my leg then? Well, he certainly tripped him. Celeste Pin, 29 now, and around 200 appearances in his 8 years with Fiorentina. So very much part and parcel of the club. Dunga, how well he controlled that ball then. That was Brazilian skill. Superb control. Dunga again. Alenikov hasn't really got into this game yet. Rui Barros might here. Oh, they were hacking away at him. Schillaci goes down. Rui Barros. Oh, was he held back then by Volpacina, and the referee is pointing, but he's pointing for a goal kick. Volpacina there with Schillaci. Rui Barros nipping in. Now, was he impeded there? The referee says no. And Rui Barros very disappointed. As I mentioned earlier, Rui Barros, one of the players who's departing, and Juventus have signed Thomas Hassler, the West German from Cologne, to play for them next season. But they haven't had that much success really, Juventus, in terms of their overseas players in recent years, not really since Boniek and Platini. Ian Rush, of course, didn't really come off the Liverpool striker. And although Rui Barros has done well, and Zavarov has done reasonably so, they haven't been as prominent as Juventus would have hoped. Schillaci taking the free kick very quickly. Down goes Alenikov. Napoli with the cross. Busso quite happy to come back and help out. Scorer of the Fiorentina goal. Napoli to Bonetti. The Juventus fans want them to go forward. Dunga so easily creates space for himself, but then uncharacteristically an error. Alenikov. Juventus looking to turn the screw here. Gallia, not this time though. Away by Dunga. Baggio. Now does he have the pace here? Nappi in support. Played through by Baggio and beyond Nappi. Juventus 1, Fiorentina 1. in this first leg of the UEFA Cup final in Turin. Di Chiara. Nappi. Offside. Italians, of course, represented in all three European finals, with AC Milan defending the European Cup and Sampdoria playing in the Cup Winners' Cup final, hoping to make amends for last year when they missed out to Barcelona. So although the league season is finished in Italy, there's still plenty to play for before the World Cup finals get underway. Dunga for Fiorentina, seeing so much of the ball in the first half, and he can be so influential when he's in the mood. Galea, though, for Juventus. Marocchi, good player, this fellow. Watch out for him in the World Cup. Busso, fouled by Galea. Graziani still preferring to stand rather than sit in his seat on the bench. Dunga's free kick. Poorly weighted, though, this time the pass. Tacconi, 32 now, but he's reminded us already tonight just how agile a goalkeeper he can be. Di Chiara. Galea. Five minutes to half-time. Alenikov to Rui Baros. Just 5'5". And that was a dangerous ball he floated in there. Valpacina down hurt as Rui Baros sprinted towards the line and then pulled it back. Flags up anyway for offside. And Valpacina has a head wound. Oh, and he's clashing there with Schillaci, who's unnecessarily really getting involved. And the referee wants Valpacina off the field so that he can receive attention. The Spanish referee wants to get on with it. Schillaci, he gets kicked then. Well, the head wound doesn't seem too bad, and Valpacina able to continue. A little exchange of words there with Schillaci. Rui Baros, the smallest player, in fact, in the Italian First Division. Alenikov, well, that was sloppy, and he was lucky to get away with that then, Alenikov. Galea. Schillaci. Good cross in. Well, are they a case for a penalty there? Casiraghi certainly felt he deserved a penalty. We'll look at it again here as it's floated over. Now, there was an arm out. Down went Casiraghi. And the appeals from Brio and the Juventus players are in vain. Signor Soriano has dismissed their claims for a penalty. Galea's header. Schillaci. Juventus now looking to press for a second goal. Schillaci again. He's had a good first half. Napoli's cross. Oh, the goalkeeper was committed, and he just got back in time. He started to come then, Landucci. Thought better of him, and as he was backtracking, he was able to make the save, but only just. Brio's attempted shot was charged down. Di Chiara. Gallia. He's a very tidy player, Gallia. And a goal scorer too, as he's shown tonight. Alenikov. Beaten though by Kubik. In goes Rui Barosh. He's like a miniature tank. And even the referee had a duck there. It's getting pretty fierce out there. Busso turned back into trouble. Alenikov now for Juventus. That'll be a free kick. Not long left now in the first half. Juventus 1, Fiorentina 1. Alenikov pulled down by Busso. Started the '86 World Cup for the Soviet Union, Alenikov, and also the European Championships at '88. The header way over the bar from Brio, who's the last survivor really of that great Juventus side of the early '80s. 10 years now with the club. And what a marvellous servant Brio has been. Sergio Brio, 33 years old now. Dunga. We're into the last minute of the first half. Busso. The free kick is in favour of Fiorentina, I think, is it? Some confusion out there. Dunga not in too much of a hurry at this stage. I think Fiorentina settling for the chance to chat things over at half-time. Hoots and whistles of derision from the Juventus following. In the last few seconds then of the first half, we're now into time added on for injuries. Bonetti to Alenikov. Gallia. Schillaci trying to shake off Volpacina. Then Dunga's tackle right on the edge of the area. And as Alenikov tried to play it through, the whistle had gone anyway. Schillaci got away from Volpacina for once, not from Dunga. We've had a minute now of stoppage time. That's how close that was to being a penalty. Marocchi with the free kick. Rui Barosh has to chase back. Bonetti. It's Busso back here defending again. Very composed he was too. Well, the referee has had a look at the watch. So we're almost at the end of the first half now. This is Marocchi. Alenikov. Fiorentina with everybody back defending. Baggio. This is Nappi. And there is the whistle to end the first half. And a very eventful one it has been too. Gallia giving Juventus the lead. Busso coming back with the equaliser just a few minutes later for Fiorentina. And it's all set here for the second half. Join us after the break.